One thing's for certain, though. All the bad guys in the James Bond films eventually come to a very sticky end, and Gavan O'Herlihy would know more about death by trouser snake than anyone. But what was the name of his character again?
A guy named Jack Patachi, I think. Was it Jack? Yes, Jack Patachi. And I died with a snake in my lap. It was a horrific death.
Better than a snake in one's trousers, wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't. It was on my trousers rather than in, but it was on them. And it was a real snake. And it was frozen because it was a winter morning. And we were all freezing our ass off out there. And this snake was heaved from one car to the other, and it was real. And I was stunned. I said I wanted a rubber one, and they didn't have one. So, next question, yes.
But that was a real live snake.
That was a live snake, yeah.
That didn't, in any way, shape, or form...
They actually, no, they used a live snake. We did 4 or 5 shots. They used a live snake, I think, on 2 or 3 and a rubber on a couple. I'm not even sure which one they used. But they had a live snake, and what they did was they trusted that Barbara would get it from one car to the next. And she did. She did, but the damn thing was frozen solid, so it kind of clunked when it landed. It was a pretty unhappy snake. Snakes don't like cold. So, yes, next, what's next on mine here?
Well, so your character came to a very unhappy end in Bond, and it was quite a quick finish for you, wasn't it?
Well, I've had quicker. I've had Bronson killed me with an anti-aircraft rocket. Lonesome Dove, I got hung. God, I can't think of how many times I've died. I've died every possible way. Hung, shot, stabbed, blown apart with a rocket, and all that was left was a smoking shoe. That was my final shot in a Death Wish film. What else? God, I don't know. There's so many. I mean, you die that many times.
So you've died an awful lot of times, which is, let's face it, one of the hardest things to do for an actor is to a convincing death.
Actually, to be in all seriousness, doing death is probably the most interesting of all. For any actor. I want to get serious here for a second. Without a doubt. Because, I don't know, it is inherently so dramatic. So whatever you choose, and you have to choose something, you can't just kind of wing it and fly through it. If ever there's something you should actually take your time with, it's a death scene. And if you've ever seen someone die, and I've seen a few people die, it's in many ways, it's beautiful. I don't want to get too weird here, but it is. And if it's a peaceful one. Now, if it's a violent one, no. But it's still, acting it is interesting. Willow was interesting. The death scene in Willow was interesting.
I was just coming to that. I was going to say, you played an awful lot of characters. What would you say were your favourite characters?
Well, I love doing westerns. And Lonesome Dove was one of my favorites, I think, because he was so nuts. And there was a scene where the director let it go. He just kept it going. And I was able to do something that I didn't expect to be able to do. I don't know. Favorites? We'll Meet Again I loved. Willow was fun. Anything on horses is fun. Anytime you get a chance to ride horses, it's cool. And so westerns and Willow and Sharpe was fun. Sharpe was a lot of fun because the crew was so wonderful, and we were in the wilds of Russia, and it was nuts. So it was pretty nuts. 9 months in Russia out of 10. So each has its own tale, I would say. But the favorite, it's hard to say.
But what was your first big break? How did you get yourself...
Happy Days. I'm Chuck in the original Happy Days. I was acting in Dublin and doing theater in Dublin for 2 years, 2.5 years. I went to Trinity. And then a German company offered me $3,000 to do a small film in the west of Ireland. And I put that $3,000 in my pocket and I hightailed it to LA, and I was doing Happy Days within 6 months. And that was a quick break. I got lucky, but I pulled out of it. I didn't want to do it. I did a half season, and they had me at college. I was going to come in, grunt, and bounce a basketball once every couple of weeks for probably 3 to 4 years. And at 20 years old, that's not the gig you want to be doing, and I didn't. So that was it. That was the first break. That kind of suddenly established me around town as a kid who got hot in a hurry. And I hung around for 6-7 years. Did an Altman film, was my first film, called A Wedding, and that was a ball. and it was wonderful to work with him. He was an interesting guy. And then I came to England, and I got offered right away a series called We'll Meet Again. Bought a houseboat and dug in. So my natural affinity, I think, is Europe, because I spent so many years in Ireland. And I like rain and I like wind. And I'm from Malibu Colony. I grew up in Malibu. So I grew up where everyone's trying to get to. Isn't that funny? I got the hell out, and the whole world is trying to get to Malibu. It's the Mecca, you know, a home in Malibu. So that's that.
I was going to ask you a little bit about Sean Connery, a little bit about what it's like to work with dear old Sean.
He was wonderful. I liked him a lot. He didn't take any shit for a start, and he didn't take any shit at all. I mean, there were stories that I won't tell you, but he was cool. He was cool. Bronson was cool. Most of the guys who are, there's some serious assholes in the business, but I've been fortunate, I guess, and most of the people I worked with, I liked. Even Val Kilmer. I like Val. I had a home in Holyhead on the coast in Holyhead, and what are you doing there? And Val actually fell in love with Joanna Wally at my home, he says. But he's had a rough ride with a lot of people, but he's all right. I don't know. You know, they're you know, if you have to carry a film, as a lot of these guys do all the time, you better have some social graces. Otherwise, you turn the entire thing into a nightmare. You know, and you got a lot of responsibility if you're carrying a film to try to make it an easier ride for a lot of the people on it. So I like them.
Hardly surprising that Gavin has trouble keeping track of his characters, though, because he's appeared in a tremendous number of productions. Still, I suppose that one never forgets a frozen snake in the lap.
All right.
Anyway, whatever the price, many would say that it's worth it to appear in a Bond film, especially when that film is the last appearance of the original James Bond, Sean Connery. Positively super.